I need to clear up something very, very important with any of you that have watched my videos in the past. I have said something that might have been taken the wrong way, which is that I've said celebrate and reward yourself on the actions you take, right? W. Clement Stone said that big doors swing on tiny hinges, and ultimately, I still believe that, with one caveat, just because I think that it's my responsibility to convey the message so that anybody that's hearing it is not left to interpretation. That element of celebrating the actions, saying, hey, I made calls today, so that's a win. Absolutely, that is. What I've mistakenly left out is if you've decided to choose a set number of calls for the day. Let's hypothetically say you said, I'm going to make at least 100 dials today. And you get to 104 dials in an hour and 20 minutes, and it's a pretty bad call session. Nobody picked up, or maybe one or two people picked up, and as soon as you said, hey, this is Bob from Bob's Real Estate, they went click. Well, then you got done in an hour and 20 minutes, and you had no material outcomes. Now, I would absolutely celebrate 104 calls. However, if you stopped there, I would not celebrate that. See, what's happening is if you spent an hour and 20 minutes or even 2 hours of what you consider a full-time day and said, I'm going to reward myself. I have no appointments. I have no follow-ups to make. I'm done, but I made 120 phone calls or 104 phone calls or whatever the number was that you made. So, the calls weren't that great today. I'm a little exhausted by it. It's a little bit of a mental drain. So now I take the rest of the day off and I run to Costco, or I do some laundry, or I hang out by my pool, or I call a friend and meet up for lunch, or go to the driving range, or whatever it is that you do. You're rewarding yourself for no outcome. That is the equivalent of a participation trophy. And if any of you out there are parents, I think most of you agree that yes, you want your kids smiling and everything else, but you also want them to understand the idea of winning. And when you get a trophy, even if you're the worst team in the league, well, I get it. I understand why. Personally, I don't agree with it. I don't like the idea of the participation trophy because I want my kids, the other kids, to strive for more. I don't want them getting lax and lazy and thinking, hey, things just come to me, and creating that entitlement. Well, if you give yourself back the other 5 or 6 hours in the day, then you are rewarding yourself not for a win, but for just being there, for showing up, for kicking the soccer ball, even if you never scored a goal. And that is the equivalent of a participation trophy. You are getting a trophy for participating and not for winning. Well, what does that stack up to in the end of the year? If you are not